So today we're going to be doing the ultimate keep, sell Chelsea tier list. We're going to be saying who needs to go, who needs to stay, who needs to get loaned out. I think I've found a very good tier list with almost every Chelsea player on it. Yeah, I'm going to give you a massive spoiler right now. There's going to be a lot of players that need to leave. Of course, we are getting close to the opening of the transfer window. Of course, some transfers can be agreed before and they'll be go through, or I believe 14th of June is when the transfer window opens. If you're on Chelsea Twitter or just on Twitter in general, I'm sure you've seen plenty of rumours about Chelsea signing players, about some players potentially leaving. But until those rumours are concrete, I'm going to act like that didn't happen. It's one of those things like you shouldn't trust everything you see on Twitter unless it's one of the main accounts you see. That's when I start getting excited about players joining or leaving, because if Fabrizio isn't reporting it, or David Ornstein, or people who are actually reputable, then it's all just fake news. But anyway, we're going to get into the keep sell tier list. I did one of these kind of mid season, and now we're going to do one at the end of the season before the transfer window. I took some time to think about it. We've got almost every player here. We're not going to rank all of the youth players because, they're youth players. So our tier list go like this. First team, these are players who should be starting next season and who should not be sold under any circumstances. Of course, there are some players who won't be sold anyway because they just came in. Keep players I think we should keep for the squad, should be around. I think they can do something next season and going forward. Loan some of the younger players. Some players need to go and get a loan out because they're not going to be playing next year. Players I would sell for the right price. Now, of course, there's some people that need to just go and get sold altogether. And then there's certain players that if a team actually offered a decent amount of money, I would let them go. The first player in here is save of the season winner, Kepa Arrizabalaga, Mr. 70 million himself. Listen, I have a soft spot for Kepa. I like him as a player. I feel like he's got a lot of stick from Chelsea fans, especially from his first season. I don't think it was entirely his fault in that first year. I think he just got a lot of scapegoated quite a bit. Chelsea fans love a good scapegoat. If it was not Willian, then it's Kepa. If it's not Kepa, then it's Sterling has been a scapegoat. Kukurea has been a scapegoat. Kai Havertz. I mean, there's Azpilicueta. I mean, some of these players deserve blame, but most fan bases like to just pick on someone, and Kepa has been that guy. I think for the most part, he's had a good season, but when I watch back some of the goals he concedes, and I'm just like, brother, are your wrists made of paper mache, bro? Like, how are these shots going in? You should be saving them. And he makes a lot of mistakes which lead directly to losing games. And I think while he might have been a good goalkeeper for a team like West Ham or Everton, when you're trying to compete for the biggest trophies, there's just too many deficiencies in his game. The biggest one is he can't catch a ball to save his life. Like, someone crosses the ball, if I'm standing next to him, he's not going to catch it. Like, I don't even need to put any pressure on him. He just won't catch it. Like I said, he lets in a lot of goals. Maybe he should save. I'm gonna put him in sell. I think he needs to go. I don't think he wants to be a backup. I think he's going to be very, very difficult to sell because even if Chelsea are willing to accept the low fee, the man's on like 170k a week, and the tier of clubs that will be interested in bringing him in, they're not going to be able to afford that. But he needs to go. To be honest, I think Kepa just needs to go. It's one of those. Bettinelli's just a third choice goalkeeper. He's like our version of Scott Carson or what Ross Turnbull or Hilaro was. You know what I mean? We just keep him. He's just there for the culture, really. Edouard Mendy. I mean, I feel like if we put Mendy and Kepa together, we would have the perfect goalkeeper. I feel like Mendy's confidence is in the bin. I think he wanted a new contract. Chelsea were like, yeah, we're not giving you the same money as Kepa. I think ever since the Champions League, he's been on a slow, slow decline, right? I think he had a very good season in that first season. It was a bit up and down at times, but since then, brother, it's just been useless, bro. He literally came back in for one game on the Frank and he just made a mistake. I don't think he'll ever play for us again. I think while maybe he is good in the air and he can catch the ball, his shot stopping just seems to get worse and worse, and his playing with his feet, it's like he's got broken feet the way he kicks the ball. So I'm gonna put him in sell as well. I think we could get a decent price for Mendy as well, like 25 mil. I think a lot of teams would be interested. I want to see Chelsea give Slonina a chance. I mean, we have so many young players. Why not just let him play? You know what I mean? I doubt that will happen because Chelsea apparently they're interested in Mike Maignan, they're interested in Kerbal, they're interested in this guy, that guy, Onana. I mean, I like Slonina. I mean, I've seen him play in the youth system. He's having a good tournament with the under 20 USA at the moment. It would be cool to keep him as a backup, but do you really want to keep him as a backup, or should we do what we did with Courtois and just loan him out if he's not going to play? If he's not going to get any minutes, loan him out, let him have a good season, similar to what Courtois did, and then he can come back and be the first choice goalkeeper in maybe a year or two. Anyway, let's move on to Benoit Badiashile. I think one of our good signings, one of the signings who's not really put a foot wrong. Unfortunately, he picked up an injury towards the end of the season. He's going to be out for 4 months, so he's going to miss the start of the season, which I think is unfortunate for him. I think he's been a bit hard done by managers leaving him out. Of course, we should keep him. If he were fit, he would be starting, but I'm going to put him in keep at the moment just because I think he's a great rotational piece. He could start, he could be the third choice. You know what I mean? He can just do everything. I don't need to say much about him. If you watch Chelsea, you know how good he is. Thiago Silva, probably going to be his last season as a Chelsea player now. I think Chelsea with their rebuild, I mean, he already signed the contract. He's already pretty much said, I'm going to be here next season. Of course, we should keep him. I think he has slowed down. I mean, he does make mistakes here and there, but overall, he's a net positive for the team. He is a leader. He is one of those experienced players, and he does play very well for the most part still. And when we have a lot of young centre-backs, you need an experienced one in there to kind of guide them, and I think Thiago Silva, there is not really anyone better than him to do that. Next, we have Trev. Trev is one of those that a lot of people rate really highly if you're in the Chelsea fan base. If you're not a Chelsea fan, you probably don't rate him or care. He is a good player. I think he could go to a lower tier Premier League side and play for them, similar to like what Mark Gahey did for Crystal Palace. I think he could go to a Crystal Palace or a Everton and be a very good centre-back there. The issue with Trev is he as good as some of our other centre-backs? No. Apparently, Chelsea will sell him for the right price. Apparently, Inter Milan are very interested. I think he could go to Italy and do a Tomori and be very good. Maybe not as good as Tomori, but he could be a very good player. I just think in the current Chelsea system, he's going to be the fifth choice centre-back. And does he really want to do that? He is kind of versatile, but he does have his flaws. I think he needed a loan move at some point. They didn't give it to him. I'm going to put him in sell for the right price. I think he could be a nice player to keep if you were to get minutes. But how many minutes are you really going to get in a Chelsea shirt? You're just going to end up getting frustrated and get sold in a season or two anyway. Right now, he's probably worth about 20, 25 mil. I think that could be a price we could get, and I'm sure there's many clubs interested in him. Next, we have Ben Chilwell. I know I'm going to get some hate for this. This is going to be unpopular opinion. I'm going to put him in sell for the right price. The reason is Ben Chilwell has not looked the same since that injury he suffered a few years ago. When he first came to Chelsea, he looked like a real player, especially under Thomas Tuchel in that Champions League run. He was really important. He was scoring goals from left back. He just looked like a better version of Marcos Alonso, right? He had the athleticism to run up and down. Since his injury, I don't think he's ever regained that full fitness. He's someone who is injury prone. Also, defensively, he is awful. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, there's any hope for him defensively. Man gets put on toast by everyone and anyone. Especially this year. He's useless defensively, and he hasn't really had that ability to go up and down the pitch. Maybe it's a question of fitness, like I said. But, hey, if Man City are willing to give us 50, 60 mil for this guy, I'm just going to put it out there. I would consider it, especially with his injury record. Reece James, I think his first team he should be starting. He's one of the best right backs in the world when he is fit. I think he needs to use the summer now to get fit and get to a place where he's free of injuries. I feel like he's rushed himself back too many times and he keeps re-aggravating things. He just needs to take this time to chill out, no international football, nothing like that, and get back to that 100% fitness so we could have a season. He's moving like the Premier League's Anthony Davis, where he's just a really good player when he plays, but it depends how many games he can play a season. If you're only playing half the season, then you're not really being that effective. Next, we have Kalidou Koulibaly. So, I mean, listen, man, I have faith that he could be a decent player. I've seen games where he's been good. It's just, he moves like a donkey way too much, and I can't be having that in my centre-back position. We're moving forward with a project. I don't think he's the right man to have for the project. I think he is a player, even though he's on really high wages, I feel like there's a team like Juventus, for example, where he can go there, even if it's on loan, and do a shift for them. So, yeah, I would get rid of Koulibaly if I could, while we still can, because if we keep him for another year, it's going to be very difficult. Azpi, again, like I said, it's time to move on. It was time to move on last summer from him. It was time for Azpilicueta to leave last summer, and Chelsea re-signed him up for a 2-year deal. I was a bit confused because he wanted to go to Barcelona. Barcelona wanted him, and he had been on a notable decline. I feel like that Champions League win was his last hurrah. It was like, yep, we've basically extracted everything we can out of him. Now he should go play somewhere else and not go through an Ivanovic cycle. And unfortunately, he's going through an Ivanovic cycle where he's getting rinsed. So, yeah, he needs to go. Cucurella, it's an interesting one, man, because he's been poor this season, but I still think there's a player in there. And I think if we get his mind right, he's fully fit and everything like that, he can still be a good player. We're also not going to get 60 mil for him or anything close. I say we keep Cucurella for at least one more season, see what he could do. Big Wesley Fofana. He has had his moments where he's looked a bit rusty. He is a bit over-enthusiastic at times. He has had a few injury problems, but from what I've seen, overwhelmingly, he's a very, very good centre-back. And I'm going to put him in first team. I think he deserves to play next to Reece James. I think that's a very, very good right side of your defence. He also has one of the most progressive ball carries for a centre-back in the league. So there you go. Enzo Fernandez, I mean, there's no doubt that he's Chelsea's best player, so he goes in first team. N'Golo Kante, I've seen a lot of rumors recently that he is going to go to Saudi Arabia, that they're tabling 100 mil, that they're tabling like a wage of 100 million euros or something for his wages. I mean, they've already given Benzema a stupid amount of money. They're trying to give Messi like $1 billion over 2 years or something. They're giving Ronaldo a stupid amount of money. I mean, I don't see N'Golo Kante rejecting that. Chelsea definitely won't match the wages, right? And it really just comes down to N'Golo. Does he want to stay with Chelsea for another year or two? Or does he want to go to Saudi Arabia and make a lot of money? We'll see. Again, we're not going to match it. Right now, it kind of looks like he's going to go. I don't want him to go, but he's out of contract. We don't really have an option. And his injury record has been poor. But if he does go, we're going to have to bring in a player that can do what he does. I feel like he's been mismanaged too. I feel like he plays in the wrong position. I feel like it started on the Sarri. He started playing him as a right centre midfielder when he's really the best 6 in the world, or he was. Now everyone seems to think he's some kind of box-to-box midfielder. N'Golo Kante, of course I would keep him if we could. I'm not going to put him in sale. Of course I would keep him. Kovacic, though, he needs to go. It's time. It's time for Kovacic to go, boys. Like, he just looks disinterested in the Chelsea shirt, bro. It's like, when he plays for Croatia, he looks like he could be Luka Modric's son. And then when he plays for Chelsea, he looks like me. Like, I could be playing in that position and somehow do what he does. Like, I wonder what he can do on a pitch. Like, I know he's got quality. I know he can go past players. I know he can pass the ball. But when he puts on the Chelsea shirt, bro, especially this season, I'm just like, brother, what's going on, man? And his shooting, don't get me started on him shooting, bro. He scored that 1 goal against Liverpool. And after that, and even before that, brother just, if he's shooting the ball, you know it's either trickling on the ground or going into the stadium. I just think Kovacic is a luxury player that you put into a system. I mean, apparently City want him for 35 mil. I would sell him for that. I think he has to go. I just think he's not the right player for us. Loftus-Cheek, it seems all but confirmed that he's going to AC Milan. Apparently, though, Maldini got sacked. He's like the sporting director. So apparently Loftus-Cheek might now not go to AC Milan. So we'll see what happens with that. I still think Chelsea will find a way to get rid of him for about 15, 20 mil in the summer. I think he's a good player. If he plays in his right position, if he can stay fit. I just think he's wasted too many years with us. Sitting on the bench, riding the bench, shitty loan move here, shitty loan move there. His fitness has really let him down and his lack of consistency, but he's still a really good player when he's fit. I think if he goes to a team like, well, he already went to Fulham, but if he goes to like West Ham or something, he would be a nice player for them. AC Milan, I think he'll cook for AC Milan too. He's really physical, he could do what he does. But I think we need to let him go. Mace, I would still keep Mason Mount, despite the shocking season. You know what I mean? Despite the injury problems, he was really good for us last year. This season, he kind of fell off. He's got 1 year left on his contract. I would like him to sign a new contract. Right now, it seems like he's got his heart set on leaving. And if he's got his heart set on leaving, he's going to go. Chelsea will eventually sell him. It looks like it's going to be about 50, 55 mil. And apparently Chelsea wants 75, 80 mil. They ain't going to get 75, 80 mil for him. If he had 3, 4 years left, maybe. But brother's got 1 year left. 50 mil. I would still probably take it. End up at United or Liverpool, wherever he'll end up. It is what it is. Zakaria, we already know he's not coming back from his loan. He shouldn't. Didn't really even play. When he did, he was okay, but kind of like Saul. Conor Gallagher, Conor Gallagher and Mason Mount are similar players, and I think we should have got rid of Gallagher when we had the chance, brother. 45 million for this guy. He's not ready. He hasn't got the ability in the final third when a team's got in a low block. His touch is too bad. His decision making is poor. Like, yes, he can get you a goal here and there. Yes, he runs around. Yes, he gets a yellow card every week. But, like, it's one of those, bro, that 45, 50 mil. How can you say no? How can you say no? Especially if we keep Mount. If we don't keep Mount, it's a different story. But I would definitely sell him for the right price. Chukwuemeka, if he's not going to play, he needs to get loaned out. It's simple as that. He came to Chelsea thinking he was going to play. And then man has had no minutes for the longest time. Especially when we had nothing to play for, we're still getting no minutes. Aubameyang needs to go. I don't need to say anything about this guy. He should have never came in the first place. He's a prime example of anyone who says that the owners didn't back Tuchel. Just show them a picture of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Koulibaly, yeah, and then be like, well, were these lot signed for the project? And they can't say nothing to you because this man wasn't signed for no project. He was signed because Thomas Tuchel wanted him. Pulisic, again, right price. Apparently, it's only going to be 20 mil for him. And I think with his injury problems, hey, it is what it is, you know? He's had so many injury problems that I don't know what to say anymore at this point. Could he be an effective player elsewhere? He kind of reminds me a bit of Ian Robin. Not as good, but if he goes to, like, back to Germany or to Italy or even to Spain, where it's a little less rough, I think he would cook. You know what I mean? If he had that confidence. He just hasn't had that confidence in a Chelsea shirt. Joao Felix, we already know he's not coming back to Chelsea. I probably would have agreed with that, to be honest. He was good at times, But again, not good enough to justify a price tag of 80 mil. I think maybe if we were getting rid of Mount, Havertz, Pulisic, all these players, you maybe would consider it. But yeah, I just think Chelsea are making the right decision, especially considering Pochettino likes active forwards who run a lot. João Felix is not that guy. Mykhailo Mudryk, of course, we're going to keep him. We ain't going to sell him yet. We kind of put all our money in this. We put a lot of eggs in this basket. We have to hope that he can do something. I've seen moments where he looks like a good player, but his composure in the final third is horrendous. He needs to improve for next year. Raheem Sterling, I mean, that Nottingham Forest game, he showed us that he still is Raheem Sterling. But apart from that, I mean, he's been poor all year long. He's had a few injuries, but like, for now, he's a keep. But he needs to show me something next season. If next season he's rocking up and he's scoring 6 goals again, then he has to go next summer. But yeah, I'll give him another season. Broja, apparently, I've seen reports all over the place that Broja might just be the answer up front, that Chelsea may not even spend for a forward. I think that might be a mistake, but man got an ACL injury. I mean, apparently there's a lot of faith in him. I've seen people like Raheem Sterling bigging him up. I've seen apparently Pochettino really likes him, and a lot of people really like him and have a lot of faith in him. So, yeah, we'll keep him. We'll see what he can do. I think he is a good player, and I think if he wasn't injured, we would have been a lot higher up the table because he would have been our centre forward. He's that physical presence as well. Runs all over the place. I really am a fan of Broja when he was on the pitch. Unfortunately, he got that injury and, ended the season. Ziyech, he has to go, brother. He has to go. I see him taking pictures of Quincy Promes. Brother's about to go to jail and he's hanging out with fucking Promes, bro, honestly. Yeah, Hakim Ziyech should have gone a long time ago, man. He should have gone to PSG. I don't know why we fucked that up. And Hakim Ziyech was just thinking up our dressing room. Whatever, man. I rate Hakim Ziyech for his technical ability. His mentality, though, I don't agree with it. That's Fofana. We're probably going to end up loaning him out. I felt bad. The guy, whenever he played, he was actually pretty good. But he just didn't get any minutes. How he did get no minutes over people like Kai Havertz, it blows my mind. But we're probably going to loan him out. And we're probably going to sell him in 2 or 3 years for a profit. I think that's the type of player he was brought in to be. He wasn't brought in to be the next Didier Drogba. He was brought in to help with financial fair play in 2 or 3 years, where if some of our players aren't performing, we can offset it by, oh, that's Fofana, he's gone on a few loans, he's pretty good. Oh, 30 mil for him. Let's go. Kai Havertz, looking like he's going to go. Real Madrid apparently want him. It's looking somewhere. I've seen reported fees between 50 to 70 mil. Apparently, Chelsea want an exorbitant amount of money for this fraud, and Real Madrid want to pay like 60. Listen, if Real Madrid are willing to give us 50, 60 million for Kai Havertz, I would sell him. Look, we can talk about his potential all day long. I've seen enough of him now. Yes, he's got a Champions League goal, all this stuff. It's no coincidence to me that his best performances come in the Champions League against European opposition, where he gets a lot more time and space on the ball. It's a little bit less physical. I feel like he's that type of player that you put him in Real Madrid's team, he's going to cook for Real Madrid. If he does get in the starting 11, you send him to Italy, Germany, he's going to do really well. But in England, it's just a different story. It's a bit too rough and physical for him. Yes, maybe he hasn't played in his right position, but again, I would sell him for the right price. If someone's going to give us 50, 60 mil, get rid of him. Madueke, really positive player. I really like him. I would be starting him next season. I think just give him the development. He's going to run around. He's going to give it his all. He's the type of player that Chelsea need. And yeah, he's doing bits. All these goalkeepers, they're all young goalkeepers. Malang Sarr, how is he still contracted to us, bro? We're going to sell him. Ampadu, again, I don't see him staying at Chelsea. He's had a few loans in Italy where he's been okay. I would also sell him. Colwill, first team. I think him and Fofana next year to start the season. We'll see him probably be Thiago Silva and Fofana, or Thiago Silva and Colwill. But I think Levy Colwill's a player we need to start giving minutes to. At Brighton, he's looked really, really good. So, yeah. Malo Gusto, we should keep him as our backup. Right back, of course. Is Nkunku on this list? Man like Nkunku. I guess he hasn't been confirmed. But Nkunku should be first team as well. I mean, I really have high hopes for Nkunku. I think he's really good. Bashir Humphreys. He's another young player. Will we loan him out again? Will we sell him? Probably loan him out again. Ian Matson, another player worth talking about. Again, if we were to get rid of Chilwell or Cucurella, I would consider it. Apparently, Burnley want to sign him on a permanent. They bid 15 mil. I saw was the rumour. Chelsea want 20 plus. I think that's fair from Chelsea, like 20 plus for him. I think he is a good young player. Apparently, he does want to, if Chelsea are willing to give him an opportunity, he wants to have that opportunity. Maybe he is willing, apparently, to go out on loan one more year and then potentially next season come into the Chelsea fray, but he would have to sign a new contract for that. So I'm probably going to put him in right price. Bubba Rahman. He's still at Chelsea, bro. All right, Bubba Rahman. If there was something even worse than so, we should get rid of him. We should just release him. Back to Yoke. What have we done, man? Bakayoko, of course. I think he is out of contract now. Surely he is, right? I mean, we still got people like Dujon Sterling. I think he's already gone, actually. Tino Anjorin, another player we probably should sell. Cassidy, I think is how you pronounce his name. Looks like a really, really good young player. We signed him from Inter in the last summer. He's been cooking in that under-20 World Cup. I think we should give him a chance in the team next season, if I'm being honest. Him or Chukwemeka or both. Of course, we have Lewis Hall. I think put him in the team. Anyone else here that's worth talking about? Amari Hutchinson, not really. They're all going to be in the youth team. Harvey Vale. The last two we're going to talk about is Big Rom and Callum Hudson-Odoi. First and foremost, Hudson-Odoi. So, he has to go. It is what it is. Hasn't had a good season at Bayer Leverkusen, but I just think he came onto the scene. He looked like a really good young player, but he hasn't lived up to the potential. There's no point in doing another Ruben Loftus-Cheek cycle, right, where we hope that he could turn into something that he's not. We might as well just take the money for him, and if he does turn into a good player, then we made a mistake, but we've made worse mistakes than that. You know, Mo Salah, Kevin De Bruyne, I mean, come on, man. This might be unpopular. I'd be willing to give Romelu Lukaku another chance if he wanted it. Like, if he was willing to play for us and commit, but apparently the rumours are coming out that he wants to stay at Inter Milan. And he's had a really good year there. He looks like towards the end of the season, at least, that he's got back into prime Lukaku shape that he was when he arrived at Chelsea. So listen, man, if he wants to give it a go, he could stay and keep. He could play for us. If he doesn't want to give it a go, then we have to sell him. But yeah, that's my take. I mean, look how many players we should get rid of. That is crazy. In terms of who should be here, I mean, this makes it look like we need a whole bunch of first team players as well. I think, yeah, it is a sticky one for us, man. It really is with the players we have. We do need a big transfer window. We need a Caicedo. We need, I mean, Ugarte we were trying to get, but PSG gave way more money than us. For me, it's one of those, we need a massive transfer window. Like, this is me saying we have 5 players worthy of first team football, mate. That in itself is crazy. Of course, actually, if N'Golo Kante were to stay, he should be in the first team. Same with Mace, but are they going to stay? Who knows? It really shows the lack of quality of player we have, man, and how poor they've been for us over the last year or two. Some of them even longer. But yeah, let me know what you agree with, what you disagree with. According to me, we'll only have 17 first team players next season, potentially, which means we'd have to sign quite a few to make the 25-man list. But I think we'll sort it out. Of course, I forgot we have André Santos as well coming back, so he might be in the team as well. But yeah, that's what I got for you today. Let me know if you agree, disagree with this list. Is there anyone I've put in the cell that you wouldn't agree with? I'm sure there'll be some people contentious over these two, especially Ben Chilwell. But yeah, anyway, that's all I got for you today. I'll see you all next time.